Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Glad to have you here. Today we have another tournament replay and we have Jack's Beastmen up against Ghetto's Wood Elves. You can see he has a very similar army to last time. Lots of Goreherd with shields as front line, supported by Gorbulls and Mount Morgar. But this time he does have Ungor Raiders, for most likely for dealing with large targets. One Best of Goreherd to provide kind of a core, and more give some support to Morgar. Out on the flanks, he does have a nice contingent, I think, here. He's got Chaos Warhounds, Centaurs, and Harpies, and he's got that out on each flank. And so these guys are amazing because they can all, it's not that expensive of a flank, but it provides lots of different kind of flanking opportunities and just abilities between three different units that are just, it's terrifying because you have armor piercing damage, you have nice cheap fodder, and then you have high weapon strength mobile units, and so they all have different kind of uses and they meld together really nicely. And you can see over here it's the same thing. The Wood Elf player, Ghetto, here has a main line of Eternal Guards, kind of a tree line in the back, 2 Treekin and some Dryads. He's got just 4 Glade Guard with Starfire Shaft out here. He does have a back line of Eternal Guard and Wildwood Rangers, some Wild Riders back here with a Glade Lord, 2 Azrai War Dancers. Over here he does have a Waywatcher and a Branch Wraith for some healing. I really would have loved to kind of put that Waywatcher up here. They have Vanguard, they have Master Ambusher, so you can be just poking at these guys from the very beginning. And that's the only way they're going to be using all their ammo. And what if the Beastman player does decide to come in and threaten you, you have so much range contingent, you can just open fire and slaughter his mobile units essentially for free. So definitely like putting those guys out here. Definitely helps them earn their 1,000 gold value. But you can see here, again, kind of the same tactics, just envelop and crush. And if you have the micro to do it, you can slaughter. Because you have so much mobility here that you can really thread the needle if they don't have more cav than you. You can see Vile Tide being dropped. Some arrows being fired in here. Any early damage is good, but you really need to be switching targets here onto the larger threats, pulling your spears out, hoping your spears can protect and start crushing these Gorbulls here. And he's going to start doing just that, but you can see they're already so close. You can see here this Gorbull is getting the hurt put down on it. Almost half health from just one volley. But here comes the Harpies, here comes all this stuff. They're going to get a free charge in here. And you can see he's mobilizing 5 units over here. Oh man, that's just going to open up his flanks here. You can see the Chaos Warhounds with poison coming in. These guys are ready to come in. You can see these Warhounds getting around. And they're just going to dive straight in here onto the backs of these guys. And you can see the Goreherds just crushing through the middle here. Nice job just pathing past the Treekin. This is definitely something you can exploit here with these Treekin. They have so low models, you can just push past, and if you're determined enough, you can get at the juicy stuff. You can see the Harpies and Centaurs. Because he pulled all of his troops over here, he now has no protection from this kind of other flank. And so you can see these Centaurs are going to just lay down the law, and these Harpies are going to shut down anything else they got going for them with Morgar and the Brave Shaman of Wild, and the Gorbulls just crushing through the middle. And you can see these Eternal Guard just kind of waiting here. Definitely, it's very hard to micro, and you can see these Ungor Raiders are opening fire on these Treekin. Even though they only have 1 armor-piercing damage, they're definitely going to pay for themselves when firing at this guy. Just because they are so hard to take down, any damage you can get on is important. You can see these Warhounds are going to path out of that combat, Vile Tide coming down like that pick, and they're going to start shutting these guys down. You can see the Harpies are running, especially with the help of those War Dancers, the Azrai Spears, but not before. They were shut down from firing at the important targets for a really long time and stuck dealing for what really is a fodder unit. Only 500 gold, really just there to disrupt and protect the important units. Here you can see nice job just pulling these Centaurs out. They don't want to fight that fight, and you can bring them back around. Harpies going for a rear charge here. I like that. And you can see these guys turning around, finally, trying to find the ideal target. And you can see here firing at these Warhounds with poison. Oh man, and look, they're just going to come right straight back around and through, and these Warhounds are going to come back, and look, Harpies are going to pull out of there. And oh man, this is just a hard Beastman army to deal with. You can see these Treekin did kind of just crush the center, but this concentrated Ungor Raider Fire is doing a ton of damage. You can see these Glade Guard, really the killing force of the Tree Men and Wood Elf army. Is just they're gonna be taking a lot of damage here, losing a lot of ammo. Treekin though still have all their models, so they still can be healed if that Branch Wraith drops some Earth Bloods on them. You can see over here the Wild Riders have been taken out. These War Dancers with Azure Spears are up against Gore Herd with shields. Definitely not going to pay for themselves fighting against an unarmored unit. Lots of Vile Tides coming down on the valuable units. Oh man, and here comes the Chaos Spawn. And they're just going to run right in the back here, and they don't care if you have anti-large. It's the glory of summoned units. You just toss them in wherever, and their damage is going to be very, very useful. Waystalker is going to actually hop in there. You can see he still has a ton of ammo left on that guy. Morgar is going to be striding over here all casual-like. And you can see Gorbel here finishing off the last of these. Oh, this is actually the Glade Lord here. Can't run away because those Centaurs are there, and the Gorbel is just going to break them. I believe it is the melee version, so no Prey of Anathrama, and he's going to be put down. You can see this Branch Wraith is being isolated by Morgar. Again, going after those casters with Morgar, they sometimes don't expect it, and you can get some nice picks because he's just such a terrifying unit. And you can see these Treekin just almost all their ammo used, but helped get rid of this very important unit to get rid of. And yeah, you can see here it's just the mop up, especially with 2 more Chaos Spawn in the bag. It's not looking too hot. So you can see these Treekin and these Branch Wraiths are going to go down. So it's going to be a Pyrrhic victory for Jack's Beastman. So we'll go look at another video between these two. Here we are. And you can see identical army from Jack. Ghetto has made some changes. You can see he has no Dryads, which is an interesting change. He's got more Eternal Guard. He's got the Way Watchers here, actually. He kept the Wildwood Rangers. And so he just kind of switched out the Dryads for a Way Watcher. So probably hoping for a little bit more armor-piercing damage for those Gorbels, potentially. But what I view as the real problem for him is these Gore Herd and Eternal Guard are never going to pay for themselves against Gore Herd. You definitely have to have some other way to take them out. That can be Wild Riders, that can be whatever. But these are, again, the anti-infantry version, so they will not do super well against these Centaurs here. You can see Centaurs with great weapons on each side. But Jack's just going to, again, come in, push the flanks, envelop, and crush, and then spawn stuff behind. Seemingly the idea here. So you can see he's kind of going to break up into 2 lines, supporting these 2 sets of archers. Treekin in the middle. You can see these Gore Herd readjusting. Everybody, I don't know what's going on here. We'll just fast forward through it though. I think definitely some just shenanigans. You can see already some Vile Tides being dropped on those archers like that, just dropping their health any way you can. And you can see this main line. I definitely would have loved to see these archers, and look, repositioning right here mid-fight is just gonna you're gonna lose all your time to shoot here. So he's gonna kind of pull his range contingent off to the right to get some shots in. But now the front line has engaged, and you can see this huge cavalry contingent coming around the side. Vile Tide dropping in the middle. And you can see these Gore Herd are just going to peel around the side, start rear charging. And you can see the Scorebolt is going to kind of be protected by these Treekin because they are a large target. Now you can see these unprotected Glade Guard are going to get charged. The Eternal Guard are close, or War Dancers are close, so they're going to be punishing these guys, but not before. Look at this unit of Glade Guard, just already lost almost half its health. And then once you flee, from one side of the Beastman army, the other side comes to get you. Luckily, he has some Wild Riders over here. But again, there's just so much here. There's Harpies, there's Warhounds, there's infantry, and he's going to be able to get in here and shut this down pretty easily. You can see both Centaur units are now coming in as well, and they're ready for some rear charges, some supporting fire. And you can see this middle is just not going too well. These Eternal Guard, just really not meant to deal with lightly armored, high attack infantry. You can see these Gorbals in the middle with their anti-large, really putting the Treekin to shame. Nice targeting here of the Ungor Raiders on these lightly armored Wild Rangers, and this happens to me all the time. Just look at this unit right here who could be helping, who could be hunting Gorbals with their armor-piercing anti-large, but they're just mismicroed here, kind of just standing, eating some shots. And you can see here in the middle, or in the back lines, Glade Guard, those two units over here are routing. This Glade Guard is out. Only thing left is these Way Watchers. And you can see these Centaurs are coming in to kind of help isolate these hero units and deal with these Wild Riders. And again, Harpies are going to be coming back. More Centaurs. Oh man. Gorbal is even coming over here to kind of help support the morale. And again, these Ungor Raiders just sitting in the back. You definitely got to be aware of these guys. Oh, miss micro here from Jack. Whatever they were hunting. I believe those Wildard Rangers. You can see they weren't on guard mode, so they chased after it. And now they're in battle with the Treekin. Definitely always got to have your archers on guard mode so they don't try and chase Vile Tide being dropped on those Wildard Rangers. You can see these guys chasing the Warhounds and the Gore Herd. But again, yeah, once those archers got off the field, it was over, essentially. You can see these Treekin holding the main line against a ton of cash here from the Beastmen player, but just not able to kind of cut their way through that effectively because they are in this mod armor piercing. So again, made for fighting elite infantry like Bestigors, rather than cheap fodder like Gore Herd. But you can see here the back is kind of stabilizing maybe, but this Glade Lord is bailing out, shooting arrows. I'm at these Gorbal. He does not have armor piercing damage, which is sad. And yeah, at this point it's just kind of like mopping up the rest of the Wood Elf player. This Gorbal hunts the Glade Lord. You can see just pathing past the Treekin. I like that. Just going after what really matters, which is this Branch Wraith and all these hero units. And yeah, it's just going to be another Pyrrhic victory for Jack. So definitely a great fight from Ghetto here. Look at these Wild Rangers. Even though they weren't engaged for a lot of that, 130 kills, 140 on these Wild Rangers. Those War Dances, Azrai Spears. Definitely just, if they had just been a second earlier and they'd pulled this Glade Guard out on that right flank, they could have protected them and maybe had them do enough damage to turn that in their favor. But anyways, great game to both these guys, and you'll get more tournament casts here in the future. Thanks so much for watching, and that's that.